Hey, what's up guys? My name is Josh and this is the IFI iDSD Black Label. For full transparency, IFI did send this out for a review, but they are not paying, asking, or otherwise trying to influence me to say anything good or bad about this product. All thoughts and opinions are my own. My thoughts and opinions are pretty clear. This thing's actually pretty amazing. This is a win on just about all fronts in my book, and it's actually rare that I have a product here that I don't have any complaints for. This is one of them. There are a couple things here and there that I wish were perhaps added. Like I think Bluetooth on an amp DAC module like this would be like God tier level, especially at the price that this is coming in at. But IFI does have some lower end stuff like the XDSD range that does have Bluetooth. I'll leave a couple links to those in the description down below. So if I could suspend your disbelief for just a second here, let's look at this as a just standard desktop amplifier. So compared to my daily driver DAC, which is the DX7S, which I use as only a DAC into my THX789, I think the amplifier has a max output of, I want to say anywhere between 500 to 1000 milliwatts. So at most, that's a 1 watt amplifier. At 16 ohms, this thing puts out 4 watts on turbo mode, and at 64 ohms, I think it's about 1.5 watts. So it's actually a pretty powerful amplifier, but there's just a ton of other features that makes this a really solid option as a desktop amplifier. And this kind of all starts with the inputs and the outputs. So the inputs consist of an OTG USB input. This does work with both computers and phones. It has a coaxial in, a SPDIF in and out, a 3.5 millimeter input in the front. And as I said before, there's unfortunately no Bluetooth with this device, which is not really necessarily a complaint as much as just a feature that I really wish they had added perhaps in the next edition if they ever make one. Outputs again consist of the SPDIF output. It has a 1/4 inch headphone output in the front, and this USB on the side can actually use as a power output to charge your phone. Now, according to their website, it can charge your phone twice, but I'm not sure what phone they're using as a metric for that. But I think mileage on how much charge you're gonna be able to get is really gonna vary phone to phone. Now, regarding the DAC portion, it natively supports DSD, DXD, and PCM. Now, those RCAs out the back can be run to a pair of powered speakers or another amplifier, and there's a switch on the back that changes it from direct drive mode to a preamplifier, and you can just switch in between on the bottom here. So continuing on the build and the different features, they have a power mode, which has eco, normal, and turbo. Turbo is gonna be the strongest, eco is gonna be for economy, which means a little bit less power. It has a polarity positive and negative, and a filter, which is for the DAC, which is either bit perfect, minimum phase, or standard. And then we have an IEM match, which comes in definitely handy for those ultra efficient headphones like the Mass Drop Zeus that we just reviewed a couple days ago. Now, 2 more switches you have an X-Bass boost, which we'll talk more about when we talk about sound, and a 3D plus, which we'll talk more about when we talk about sound. So all of those options, all that power in this little box right on your desk is pretty amazing. But by far the most amazing factor about this is that you can just unplug it and take it with you. So it is a little bit on the sizer end. It's certainly gonna fit in any backpack, and for most pockets, I think it will fit in a front pocket, and I don't think you're gonna have too many issues, but you're probably gonna wanna unplug stuff if you do that. And a little bit on the user experience, this thing feels incredibly solid in the hand. Like, it's a very nice thing to hold. It's a very nice thing to pick up. Plug ports into, all the switches feel great. The only minor design complaint that I have is I wish this power mode switch was actually inset and a little bit more difficult to switch, because as of right now, it's a little bit of a bump and it's not completely flush with the surface. So if you bump it while you're wearing IEMs, for example, and you go from eco to turbo, you're gonna have a bad day. So features, I'd say a 9.5 out of 10. It's got a lot of stuff. The one and only thing that it doesn't have that I would have liked to see, again, was Bluetooth. Build, 10 out of 10, great solid little package. Can charge your phone, and it will fit in a pocket tightly, but it will fit. Power output for a mobile amplifier, 10 out of 10. And that brings us to sound, which is arguably the most important part. So how does this thing sound? It actually sounds pretty good. I plugged in LCD2Cs, DT1990s, basically anything that I've reviewed in probably like the past 2 months that I've had here, and they've all been fantastic. And even on some of those lower efficiency headphones like the 600 ohm like T1 or the LCD2C, the battery life was never really an issue. Now, the sound quality through all of it was fantastic. Extremely low noise floor, even on super efficient headphones like the Zeus. The dynamic capability of this amplifier is up there with a lot of the desktop amplifiers that I've tried in the past. The cleanliness of the highs that that real crispy nature that you can get from something like the T1. This is able to keep up with just fine, but also have the slam and impact from a little bit heavier hitting planar like the LCD2C, the Monoprice M1060C, and the standard M1060. As a mobile amplifier, I have some of the highest regards for this thing, but I'm left feeling a little bit short of what I can tell you about it, and that's kind of a good thing. Like, it's not characteristic in any particular way that I felt was notable other than just being really, really clean, really nice sound. And I think for an amplifier, that's exactly what you want. But I think for most people, including myself, for the price, given all the features, the sound quality here is just about perfect, and I'm gonna give that a 10 out of 10 as well. Now, there's also a couple switches up front, the X-Bass Plus and the 3D Plus. These options are kind of nice to have on certain particular headphones, but it really just depends on which headphone that you're plugging into it. The 3D Plus, it's just a frequency adjustment. It's just like an EQ for a slight frequency adjustment. I'm not sure exactly which frequencies it's adjusting, but it's basically boosting certain frequencies to make the soundstage kind of come across a little bit wider. And this is really hit or miss for me, depending on which headphones I plugged into it. The majority of them, it didn't really add much that was, a substantial amount more. And it's still a somewhat subtle effect. It's not completely over the top. I would say, every headphone that you have, you might as well try it since the option's there. But it's not a strong selling feature in my opinion. If it didn't have it, I wouldn't even have complained about it. And that kind of goes with the X-Bass as well. If you're a bass head, you're probably already buying headphones that are pretty bassy. So this might help you if you have like a headphone like a 6XX or a 600 or a 58X or something that's just a little bit dry in the bass response. This switch, while not like a massive bass boost, it is enough to give it a little bit more richness and warmth in the lower end. And in certain circumstances, for certain headphones, that can be nice. But again, not needed. But I'm happy it's there just in case on the off chance you need it. Okay, so conclusion time. Does this make a fantastic mobile amplifier? Yes. But I think the person that I would personally recommend this product to is somebody who's looking in this price range for one item that will do everything. It's gonna be your DAC, it's gonna be your amp, it's gonna have some EQ options, and it's gonna play friendly with extremely efficient headphones and fairly hard to drive headphones, and everything in between. And it has the added benefit of being able to go wherever you do. And I think for the right person, that's gonna be an extremely useful feature. So that's my thoughts on the Black Label. I'm curious to your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, hit that bell notification to get notified for new videos. And until the next video, my name is Josh, signing off.